Hi, Kerry. Welcome to the NTM Growth Marketing Podcast. I'm excited to be speaking with you today.
Hi, Andrew. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited as well. And you work for such a game-changing leadership training organization. And I want to start off and hear a little bit more about your company. What is your role at the organization?
Sure. So I head up all things customer success and marketing. Our parent organization is the Best Practice Institute. There's quite a few people who know that name. And a number of years ago, they rolled out the Most Loved Workplace. And so that's really the vast majority of our efforts. So our founder and CEO, Lewis Carter, he had done some research. He's an organizational psychologist by trade. He had done some research over many years and found that really to help a company create a workplace culture where employees love to come to work, and where you really start to get that discretionary effort from employees, you've got to tap into their emotions and sentiments. And so he did built this low-E construct, low workplace index. And so that's what we do, really. It's helping companies to create a culture, a workplace culture where employees love to come to work.
What does the day in a life of Kerry look like?
Um, I've worked at different companies and, software, it's always fast, it's always changing. It has never been quite so drastic as this. So lots of customer meetings every day, especially lately, just tons of interest in learning about how to get certified as a most loved workplace. So lots of customer meetings. I lead all things customer success and marketing. So it's all aspects of marketing, master of none, sort of, being a generalist like that. But so combination of partner meetings, internal meetings, and working with our customers.
I love the combination you have of the customer. What was the exact title? I don't want to butcher it.
It's head of customer success and marketing.
So head of customer success and also marketing. And can you share a little bit about how being so involved with the customer actually influences better marketing?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great question. So really, we wanted to be really customer centric as an organization. And
Mhm.
so hence the two organizations coming under one umbrella. And how do their communications and my interactions with the customers. I mean, it's one of the struggles I think marketers always face is that you're not connected enough with customers, right?
Mhm.
Like we're typically, historically, we're dependent on sales, we're dependent on customer success, and you always lose something in that translation, right? So by having these organizations under one umbrella, it's
Mhm.
telling me from a marketing perspective, what do our customers care about, right? Sometimes we think we know what that right value proposition is, but again, we're dependent on third party voices and
Mhm.
things. So having that direct interaction with our customers on a daily basis tells me what matters to them, both from a messaging perspective, but also what are the deliverables? What are the types
Mhm.
of events and offerings and services we should be providing to them?
I want to get a little bit more specific. Don't do anything, it's violating, NDAs and all those things. But I want to differentiate between asking customers, do you want to buy more stuff where you refer us to a friend versus what you're doing, which is understanding and asking the right questions. And what are some of the ways you get deeper into that relationship? The questions you ask to dive deeper into that customer centric approach.
So understanding, so the whole part, getting certified as the most loved workplace, there's no cost to do it,
Mhm.
right? So the front end, and of course there are ways that we generate revenue on the back end, but it's still an investment for them in effort, right? And their
Mhm.
time and effort, right? As HR leaders and people leaders. So one of the questions I always want to ask is, what's the value to you,
Mhm.
right? What's the value in getting certified? What does it mean to your talent management, right? Most of our, not all, but most of our buyers, our primary persona is that HR leader. So what's the value to you? Why do you take the time to do this? And it's usually either impacting their talent retention strategies
Mhm.
or their talent acquisition strategies, right? So is it the employer branding side of things that matters most, or is it truly wanting to understand how to evolve and change your company culture?
Mhm. Can you share a little bit more on some of the overall marketing principles, philosophy that guide your company?
Yeah, so one, again, of course, being customer centric. I think another is being really authentic and genuine, right? So it was really important to Lou and to our foundation that this is not a pay to play,
Mhm.
right? So one of the end deliverables is once you become a most loved workplace certified company, you have the opportunity to get on the Newsweek list of top 100 most loved workplaces. So that's huge visibility, right, for any employer. You can completely do all of that without paying anything. And so it was really important to have that authenticity and genuineness behind our research, behind our lists. And I think that carries through into
Mhm.
our marketing, right? The conversations that we have. I think another principle is try something quickly, right? Try it quickly. Doesn't work, great, drop it. But we will just regularly, let's see what happens, kind of an attitude, right? Because of course, marketing is this combination of art and science, and it
Mhm.
changes, right? What worked last month doesn't necessarily isn't going to work next year, kind of a thing. So it's we try things quickly and then we move on. I think another just like we should all be doing, and it's common sense, right? But this spirit of continual improvement,
Mhm.
right? So setting our benchmarks, and no matter what it is, what the activity is or the deliverable is what's our benchmark and how do we get better? And one of the things I've always done here and in prior lives is this, it's a little bit cheesy, but continuous improvement marketing, right? So at the end of every month, the start of the month, we look back at what are the activities that we did last month, from email marketing to social to digital to events, whatever it is. What are the activities that we did last month? What were the results? And how can we do better next month? And one of the principles I've always had in this meeting is whether or not you're directly responsible for that aspect of marketing, you have it's a shared responsibility, right? The outcomes it's a combination of different things. So we all have a responsibility to speak up. So even if social marketing's not in your specific domain, if you have an observation, right, even if you're the email marketer or whatever, or product marketer, you have an obligation to speak up and share your thoughts, right? Because it's a combined effort across the board.
I love that organizational philosophy. And this next question leads from that, which is I've heard the stats around Fortune 500 CMOs having an extremely short tenure. I think it might be less than 18 months.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
less than 24, I know,
Oh,
anyways.
okay. It might not be exactly 18. Let's say 18 to 24-ish month is the tenure, which is very short for C-suite at that level of business. And within your organization, you're very much encouraging people to learn from their failures, get stuff out, test. So what advice would you have on leading marketing talent to uh, one might be seeing those, headlines out there, short tenure of marketers, CMOs, and at the same time, you're telling them it's okay to fail. What advice would you have for that marketing leader of how to have a similar type of culture like your organization has?
So it's always important to understand what matters to the CEO, right? That's
Mhm.
the reality of it, right? Is understand what's important to them. Marketing, and this is one of the reasons I think that CMOs have such a short lifespan is marketing can mean so many different things, right? Are you looking for that really data-driven marketer, or are you looking for that brand visionary, right?
Mhm.
Are you looking for that really transformational person or just getting leads in? So I think it's really important to understand what matters to the company, to the board, to the
Mhm.
CEO, and then make sure that that's the right fit for you.
Mhm.
I think that's one of the things. I think the other thing is, again, like trying things out, right? And failing quickly and moving on to another thing. And if it's not the right fit for you, right? If you're that data-driven marketer or you're that brand person, be self-aware, know what your strengths are, and know that if that's whether or not that's going to be the right role for you.
Mhm. It sounds like you've been through some wars with CEOs. I might be making that up, but it sounds like you have a lot of experience in dealing with CEOs. And I was curious if you could share some advice and life lessons of your interactions with CEOs and how to create a good relationship with them.
So, and I would say it's not just my direct experience, right? But in my
Mhm.
prior years, having worked for CMOs and
Mhm.
seeing that they weren't meshing.
Mhm.
right? So again, sort of to reiterate, it's understanding who that CEO is,
Mhm.
right? I mean, any working relationship, it's I need to understand what's important to you, right? What kind of person are you, right? Doing any of those like Enneagrams or whatever, knowing how to best communicate with you. And I think the other thing that we often make, the other mistake we often make as marketers is we think everybody understands our domain, right? We think everybody understands what, the conversion metrics are, what SQLs are, what click rate is versus click-through rate, right? And they don't. So
Right.
often they don't. So putting things in terms that they're going to understand, whether it's the CEO or the CFO, knowing what matters to them and putting it in terms, and don't make, just because I've been doing this for 20, 25 years, there's so much assumed knowledge in there. Don't assume that that CEO understands all of your jargon and metrics and things.
So the old saying of speak to someone like they're a fourth grader.
Maybe eighth grader, I hope, but yes.
I want to hear your views around innovation in marketing. What is an innovation that you're excited about at the moment, and whether that's broadly speaking AI, a new SaaS product that's out there, a new social platform? What's getting you excited?
I have such mixed feelings about AI, and it is great. And at the same time, it speeds up the process.
Mhm.
But I think it's really risky to depend on it too much, right? I've
Mhm.
seen too much, like from a content perspective, for example, I've seen too much poor quality content come across my desk that I would never want to publish.
Mhm.
Yes, it was great that somebody used Chat GPT to write it, but the quality's not there. So I think, I love the speed at which it can get things going and get the process going. But I also think we have to be really cautious of it.
Mhm.
And you still need that domain knowledge, right? To
Mhm.
know if what they're saying is a bunch of, just jargon and top words, or if there's really some depth to it. So, but there is, of course, from a speed and efficiency perspective, there's great value in AI. I think the other thing that we continue to move forward to and this isn't new, but there continues to be good opportunity for personalization and really making sure that I'm delivering that right message, that right offer when you're ready to hear
Mhm.
it, right? I mean, we've got our buyer's journeys, and I've got to make sure, I might have a great solution for a problem, but you don't even know that you have it yet.
Mhm.
And by doing it too soon, I lose you.
I think that's so important around the QAing what's going on. I had an instance where I was bored and I was wanting to research the last 15 years of Pittsburgh Steeler first round draft picks. And I like my thing is the Steelers, and I know all the stats, and it was hallucinating the draft picks. And then it was saying we didn't draft certain players. I knew we picked those up via free agency. So it's not a guaranteed, output is going to be right every single time.
Correct. Yep, absolutely.
Do you have any preference for Bard? Well, I guess it's now Gemini, ChatGPT, any that's really caught your eye so far?
I haven't. I have heard great things about Gemini, but I can't say I've used it yet.
It's a different experience with ChatGPT as it's free, and it also connects to your Google account. We planned our honeymoon with
Okay.
Gemini, and then
Yeah.
you can upload it into a Google Doc and share it with one another, which is pretty cool.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. Well, I'll have to check it out.
Uh, Thinking as well, looking into the future, it doesn't need to be, AI technology, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on what's a area of marketing you're looking forward to in 2024. And this could be anything from technology to getting back in your life with human beings to, just the nitty gritty of, leads coming in, qualifying them into sales.
I think it comes back to building tighter relationships with our
Mhm.
customers and prospects and building that advocacy marketing part of our marketing, right? I think as more time goes on, I mean, we all know it, right? I can tell you how great our product is, how great our service is. If my customer tells you that, it's
Mhm.
worth a million times more, right?
Mhm.
So I think that's one of the things that we're really focused on this year is how do we build out that advocacy marketing strategy and let our customers, one, making them the heroes and helping them tell their own
Mhm.
success stories internally, but then how do we use that to help us, of course, drive more leads and more visibility?
I'd love for you to share a little bit more around making the customer the hero instead of the company being the savior, or if it's a personal brand, that individual as, the guru. Can you share more about that?
Yeah, we definitely make that a priority. And even in our QBRs with our customers, when we're doing onboarding meetings or QBRs, it's trying to help them tell what their success story is,
Mhm.
right? As marketers, it's second nature for us, right? We should be able to find a win story, a success story, and tell that in a compelling way. But that's not natural for everybody. And so it's really one of the things that we focus on every time we're on the phone with a customer is understanding and help them pull out that win story,
Mhm.
help them pull out their hero story, right? How did they
Mhm.
change, in our case, how did they change their workplace culture? How did they increase retention rates? How did they increase application rates? Right. And helping them to tell that story. And yes, of course, it's great for them, but it's also great for us, right? Because then when they move on to their next role, they're going to take us with them.
Mhm.
Right. So it's helping to grow. And I've always felt like the more I can help grow my customer leaders, it's going to pay back in dividends.
So lastly, Carrie, can you share any website, social media handles, best ways to follow up with you?
Yeah, Kerry Gilliam on LinkedIn, and anything Most Loved Workplace. We're posting on Most Loved Workplace every week. One of the things that we do is a leader show with Lou Carter, our CEO, and on Newsweek. So we're posting there every week. So anything Most Loved Workplace or Kerry Gilliam, I would love to connect.
Perfect. Thank you, Carrie.
Thanks, Andrew. Have a great afternoon.